All right, y'all. Welcome back and happy Monday. I hope that y'all's Monday is going great. I know some of y'all work maybe in the Nashville area or wherever, and you got to deal with some Vanderbilt fans. I'm sorry for you, but y'all gonna be tough enough to be able to get through. Some of y'all actually might have called off just so that you had, have one more day to wait before you got to hear all that stuff. But that's the implications of it, right? And we dealt with it last season after the loss to the Buckeyes in the playoffs. Really bad taste in our mouths. For those of y'all that's been rocking with us, y'all know exactly what we're talking about. Talked about it all off season. And we got right back to the same spot. It really, I would say that this one's worse. I mean, we lost 3 home games, which is pathetic. We lost to 3 of the 4 teams. We're talking trash before the games, and we let them back it up, you know? And it's inexcusable. I've talked a lot about the mindset. That's going to be the theme of this offseason for us, is the mindset of the staff, the mindset of the players. It's got to be a lot tougher. It's got to be a lot more dogs. I mean, it's cool to have good stories and stuff, but this ain't the Hallmark Channel. I don't care about that. I want players who can play. That's who needs to be playing. It's about playing the right people. It's about going out and adding the right people from the transfer portal, from the high school ranks, from junior college, wherever you can add them from. Go and add them. And not just, again, with the players, but also with the coaches. The mindset's got to get like an overhaul. One of the things that I've talked about, again, for those of y'all that's been rocking with us, y'all have heard me say it. Coach Heupel has this like no fighting policy. And he's had it in place, I guess, since he's been a coach. It's like a no on the field fighting policy. It can't be a no off the field fighting policy. I can tell you that. But I disagree with that. And I said it then. I'm saying it now. Like, one of the biggest indications of how tough and physical and gritty your team's going to be is in the preseason. How many fights do you get into? Like, guys should really be fighting figuratively and literally for their spots. Like, you need some of that. We need a lot more edge. And I think that just like 50-foot view of this team, I think that's been the biggest problem. That's why we've lost the games that we've lost. Every season we lose a game that we shouldn't lose. And this year we lost a few. Like, it seems like we lost more. In some ways it kind of feels like we might be going backwards. In some ways it feels like this team kind of got worse as the year went on. I would say, with the exception of a few kind of like veteran players, right? Some of them maybe got better. But with our young guys, you definitely saw the growth. That's a positive sign. That's a positive thing. So as we're transitioning to players doing like their exit interviews, I think players and probably coaches too, doing all that, this is what Coach Heupel needs to be looking for. What's the mindset? You got to explain to me as a coach why you played who you played in the situations that you played them in, and why they weren't productive enough, why they didn't have enough dog in them to go and make the plays. And the players, same thing. You know what I mean? You got to figure out what the effort level's like. You got to figure out, and Coach Heupel says it all the time, the mental makeup of these guys. It's cool to get the kind of like squeaky clean character players. You can win with those guys because you can turn it off and turn it on. That's a skill that you have to master as a football player. But this is a contact sport. You're going to battle, and it's 60 minutes of rock'em sock'em, like Coach Foreman used to say. And that's something that P and I, we've lived by that, like we were young whenever we first heard it, but it's like a mantra that we live by. You have got to be ready to give us 60 minutes worth of rock'em damn sock'em. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. All right, we're going to start off with what I think is the most important place on this defense, because obviously the defense, we need some upgrades there. I'm not trying to call people out, especially these young players. That's not the point. It's not necessarily like an upgrade from always just like a talent standpoint, but just like an upgrade from what we've done and what we can do moving forward. Because, man, if the defense ain't right, it's tough to win a championship. The offense, we'll talk about offense in maybe like a different stream. We'll show you several things, right? But y'all please do us a favor, man. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel if y'all are joining us on your lunch break or on your day off because you didn't want to have to deal with the Vanderbilt fans. But we are going to jump into it. Let me go ahead and get into some of these chats. So we are going to make sure that we, get to super chats and also members. We're going to get to y'all first, all right? And that's something that was pointed out to me. Thank you for that. Because we try to do it, but we couldn't find a way to figure out, hey, what's what as I'm looking through the chats, but now we got to figure it out. Okay, so right here, from my dog, Matt SS, saying, tell me how it is. Appreciate you, bro. You already know. I'm going to most definitely do that. Matt's also saying, FU Bama too. Yep, for sure. And LSU. Man, look, all of them. You already know, bro. Okay, so this next one right here from Will Holder. What's going on, bro? Thanks for all the great info this season. Hopefully this offseason we can make some changes. Well, thank you for rocking with us. Thank you for being a member. Shouts out to everybody that even if you're subbed or, whatever, if you like and stuff, that also helps us out in a very major way. But yeah, I mean, it's hopefully we can make the changes because we have to make some changes. Okay, so this one right here, or star. Okay, something that we're missing, or something that I'm missing, just as far as the comments there. This one from my dog JPad, who also he's been rocking with us for a very very long time. I want to know how, or I want to know why Jaden wasn't playing more Edwin Spillman as well. Yeah, I do too. I mean, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I think that Edwin Spillman, he did play a pretty good amount, but could he have played more for sure? All right, so this one right here is saying that safety is a definite must in the portal. That's a fact. Tyler Redmond damn sure grew up. He's a dog. Yeah, I think he probably will end up getting paid. So this one right here, okay, yeah, okay. So say the same thing that I said about all of them. Yeah, F all of them, man. This is us against the world. That's how I'm feeling. I know that y'all are on the same page. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into it. So what I want to talk about today, y'all, is our defensive line, specifically our defensive tackles. I was going through for like the past couple of days and looking at their stats versus like the rest of the SEC, and it's pretty shocking to me because how many times have we talked about, man, we knew that we had three really good ones that were veterans, but we also felt like, hey, there's some youth that maybe they can grow up pretty quickly. Well, we started the season off, two of the three didn't get to play for maybe like the first 2 or 3 games, something like that. Maybe it was 4 for all 3 of them. But over the course of the year, it was still pretty bad. That was a group that I had some really high hopes for. I thought that they'd be good. Now, P and I did question, why aren't we going out and targeting bigger guys up front in the middle? Now, understand something, okay? I can make the argument that defensive tackle is the most important position on a defense. The middle of your defense is critical, but up front is even more critical. It's very tough to have a good defense if the middle isn't doing what they're supposed to do. Now, I'm not blaming Coach Garner for this. I know that some people, I've seen it in some places. I know that he's probably going through some things. I really like Coach G. He's an excellent coach. He's proven that for way too long for me to just say, hey, this is on him. It's on somebody else. Like I said, I don't like Coach Heupel's mindset with the fighting. That's just one thing, okay? I don't like the non-competition stuff that he does where, hey, veterans pretty much are, they're just going to win the job. Can't have that. It's got to be an open competition every single season, all the way through the season. That's the only way. If you look at the people that are winning the national championships, especially on a consistent basis, hate to say it, but talk about Coach Saban. He played freshmen all the time, okay? And they would have people who didn't even play getting drafted. Why? Because, and that was, of course, a totally different era where it wasn't transfer portal for most of what he did and wasn't NIL, whatever. They were obviously cheating, but so on and so forth. Doesn't really matter. You got to find a way to replicate that these days if you want to be the big dog, okay? If that's what you want to do, that's what you have to make it an open competition. So I just think that it almost, I don't want to say forces, but it like opens up the door for some of the veterans to just be like lackadaisical. And I'm starting to see that more and more. We need dogs. We need hunger over the course of the year. But anyway, had high expectations for the defensive tackles. These are some of their numbers. So in the top left, okay, win percent. Our defensive tackles were ranked dead last in the SEC amongst defensive tackles in win percent. This is just the times that you're winning in whether it's pass rush, whether like whatever, just getting off blocks, like you're beating the people on offense. 6.9% dead last over the course of the year. Now, our defensive ends, they were number 4 in this category at about 24%. Now, pressure rate, our defensive tackles dead last there too, 7.5%. Again, it's about the defensive tackles versus other defensive tackles, defensive ends versus other, so on and so forth. Okay, our defensive ends, they weren't great with the pressure rate. They were at number 10. That's the bottom half of the SEC at 18%. But sacks, both of these units outperformed with their sacks. Now, if folks start calling for Coach Banks, I've gone back and forth. But one of the things that I'll say is that he is scheming some things up. He really, I think that this is kind of like a sign of that. Because like their pressure rate and all that, their win percent for the defensive tackles wasn't great. But as far as the generation of sacks, that was good. And understand the defense, it works in concert. It's different things. You're bringing pressure from different areas. It might force it to somebody else. That might be part of it. So either way, defensive tackles, they're number 9 as far as sacks with 6. And defensive ends, they're number 1. I think they're tied in first place with 24. It's us and A&M. All right, so just as far as like the whole defense, okay? The positive run plays, okay? Defensive tackles, again, dead last. Only 18.9%, almost 19% of their plays versus the run were positive. Dead last. It means that everybody was, had a higher rate. Okay, I had to emphasize that because that's critical. How do you have a good defense if the defensive tackles aren't playing well? And I think some of it was because we had so many youth or so much youth. We want to rotate. We're going to be better for it next season, I think. But it wasn't as good as it has been. I don't think that we were as deep as we have been again because of the youth. But defensive ends, they were at number 8. Versus the rest of the SEC, linebackers were at number 10. Safeties were at number 11, and the cornerbacks were at number 10. Okay, so maybe y'all can understand what I'm saying here, right? Hopefully y'all can understand what I'm saying here. Defensive tackles have to take a step forward. And I had to shout out to my brother P because I've been looking for this man's film. I've been trying to find his film, and P was able to find it. It was actually in a lot easier place than I thought. But either way, Jalen Thomas, okay, he's a JUCO defensive tackle. He's transferring in from Northwest Mississippi College or something like that, but he came up on a visit, I think, last weekend versus Vandy, said that he really liked it. Right now, it's down between us, Arkansas, Baylor, and Vanderbilt just offered him last week. But we're going to jump inside the film room, and we're going to talk about him as a player. So 6'3", 310. And I think that he's a prototype 1 technique, maybe 2 technique. He could also play at the 3. On film, he's mostly playing at the 0 technique. That's a nose tackle. Okay? It didn't take me long. It took me really off of the first clip. I said, okay, off of the second clip, he said the same thing. This is a dude. He's explosive. He's twitchy. He's from Memphis. There's a certain level of toughness that comes from players that come from Memphis. Think about Ra as a true freshman. Think about how much of a dog he is, right? Like just people who are just solid. You know what I'm saying? Like just like very stoic, very strong, very solid. And he's cut up. Physically, he's very well put together. He's jacked. Y'all saw him on the thumbnail. That's who that was. We have to have him. Like, with no question, we got to obviously go out and get defensive tackles. Man, I hadn't seen him, so I wasn't quite sure. Okay, but then after I watched him, I said, oh, yeah, this is a guy that I think comes in next season. He's a starter. He's a starter. He might have been a starter for us this season. If we're doing it right, if we're doing it fair, probably going to be a guy that, and look, I'm definitely not taking a shot. I love Bryson Easton, also from Memphis. He's a dog. He's been a dog. I think he's been playing banged up. He's had to play way more reps than what he typically would. I think that Jackson Moy been playing banged up for sure. David Hobbs, he's been getting off. Again, shouts out to our young guys. I love what they've done. I think that they've just grown so much. And they're going to be perfectly fine. But we got to be able to rotate. We need a whole lot of these dudes. Your defense can only really go as far as the middle of it. And that starts up front, like we said. But he's a guy that I absolutely love watching his film, and he's going to make a gigantic difference in our defense. If he was on the defense this season, I promise you the stats will look better. I promise you. I guarantee it. I think that he's good enough for maybe like a win or so. I don't know what the going rate is right now. Well, I've seen it, but I don't know it off the top of my head for defensive tackles. But he's worth spending the money because he is so versatile, because he is so strong, so powerful. He plays with so much effort all the way through the whistle, and he's got the attitude that this defense needs. You got to have more of that. Last season, the defense definitely had it. I think that we had it in a lot of spots this year, not just for the defense, but for the whole damn team. Let me just start to ramble off. So look, wide receivers. Braylon Staley is a dog. He's physical. Mike Matthews is a dog. He's physical. I think that Chris Brazzell, more towards the end of the year, I know that he started to worry about getting hurt and all that. He's going pro. He's going to be maybe a first-round pick. Totally get it, but he's physical. Saw the physicality. Ra, Travis Smith, dogs, physical. They got the mindset. They got the right mindset. Tight ends, Ethan Davis has come such a long way. I love what he's doing. He's a bully. He plays with bad intentions. He plays almost dirty. I love it. The offensive line, a lot of those guys are doing that same thing. Defense, I'm not going to name off too many. I mean, look, we already know that, like Red, I think that all of our linebackers play with that edge. There's no question all of them do. At safety, Ed does his thing. Sidney Walton does his thing. You know what I mean? Colton Hood earlier in the season did his thing. I think that our stars try to play with it but you're only as strong as your weakest links. That's the whole point. So you can't have the sometimes-y stuff. We need a whole daggum team full of dogs, and I think that he's going to help with the mindset of this team. Sounds like he's a really good kid. Sounds like he came from maybe like a tough situation. He's thankful for the opportunities. That's great. But whenever it counts, are you a guy that we trust? just from watching this film, he's a guy that I feel like we can trust. It's third and short, fourth and short. It's whatever, second and medium. Games on the line, critical situations. I trust him to go and make a play. I trust him to win versus double teams. Damn sure versus single teams. I trust him. And that's what we need a whole lot more of. So with all that being said, I'm going to come right back, okay? I'm going to come right back, and we're going to tap back into the chats. Again, just kind of like sticking with the theme. I want to make sure that we get to all of our members and all the super chats first. So that's the way that we're going to play it. All right, so Matt saying he needs a rude, nasty, mean, ruthless defense. For sure, pissed off, red-eyed, jacked up. That is 100% what I'm talking about. And really, after I watched this film, again, shouts out to my brother Pete for sending it to me. It really got me fired up because I was like, man, like, this is what we've been missing. It just hasn't been enough of that. You can't play defense. You can't play like elite defense for sure without that. You gotta be a dog. It's got to be different. It's something that you can maybe turn on and off, but once you hit the field, it has to be there. Has to be there on a consistent basis. And we just lost that edge. So I always blame the head man first. Coach Hype is going to do a better job of keeping that passion going. You can't be so laid back, man. Like, I know that you're a player's coach. It's kind of what your personality is, but man, you've got to be harder on people. That like the a-holes got to start to come out. Really does, because I'm not going to go through another season of this, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that whoever I can touch, whoever I can talk to help the team get the proper mindset. I'm telling you, I can tell you for a fact there's people up there that have that mindset. Anybody that came from Buford, they all got that mindset. Anybody that came from that area, they all got that mindset, for sure. It's a different brand of football. You go out to Memphis, you can find those types of guys. Like, you got to get the people that come from those areas that are cut from that cloth, because it's something that at this point I think players either have or they don't. But you can maybe try to fire them up some with, hey, it's like sink or swim. If you out there with the wolves, you know what I'm saying? Like, you either gonna fight or you gonna get ate up, or you gonna get beat up, or whatever. Of course, I'm speaking like figuratively, but iron sharpens iron, and it's a good way just to like weed people out, and that goes for the kickers too. Goes for every single person on this team. There ain't a soul on this team that can't play with that type of an edge, but especially on the defense. It's a must-have. All right, so this one right here from Samuel. Thank you for joining us, sir, saying it felt like the past couple of years, if we get them in 3rd and 1 and 3rd and 2. I don't know. Did this get cut off or? Interesting that I can't see the rest of what you're saying there. So sorry about that, man. I'm not sure what the heck's going on with the rest of it. Or maybe you just didn't finish that thought. Maybe that's the case. But either way, yeah, I most definitely, I think I get what you're saying. That maybe those are like really, really critical downs and all that. All right, so this one from Jordan Griffin saying that Josh Heupel is too loyal to his upperclassmen to play the most talented younger players. Yeah, and look, there's a part of that I like. Listen, I love loyalty, but you can't be loyal to a fault. You just can't. And players, like, they have to be able to do for themselves too. Like, they have to be able to know what the situation is. This is grown man football now. So you gotta, like that. That's how you gotta carry yourself. Like, we're not just gonna give you spots just because you did good last year, whether you're an upperclassman or not. It shouldn't matter. Like, you gotta. Is what have you done for me lately? Because something that coaches tell you, good coaches tell you this anyway. We are going to try to find a player better than you every single year. And your job is to be better than them. Like, you just got to keep on working. That's the only way that this thing is going to play out how we want it to play out. Okay, so from Samuel, saying it felt like the past couple of years, okay, if it's 3rd and 1 or 2, that we were in a good spot, but this year pretty much automatic first down. Yeah, I think the 3rd downs was a problem for this defense. And to your point, if you can't stop 3rd and shorts, if you're not great versus the run, you're not going to have a very good defense, especially in the critical situation. So it's like a trickle down. You have to have that. And that damn sure starts with your defensive tackles, for sure. So Matt saying that we need more men with vicious pride. I don't care where they. Yeah, and look, I'm the same way too. It doesn't really matter where you came from. The whole reason I'm saying what I said is that from those areas, it's pretty much like how you get out of some of those areas. It's about you have to have that. Like, it's no making it out without that. So that's the only point. I don't really care where you're from. If you can bang, you can just bang. You know what I'm saying? Like, you either can handle the funk or you can't. But yeah, that's what it has to be. It has to be way more of that. It can't be a bunch of the like straight, choir boy all the time. Now, I'm telling you, I've seen guys that are like that, that can turn that dog on. Doesn't mean that just because that's your personality, but we need more with that edge. We need more people like to talk about basketball because a lot of folks know basketball pretty well. Like a Draymond Green, it's kind of like dirty, or even for our basketball team, like a Carey. You know, he was kind of the guy that we brought in because see, Rick Barnes got that. This team, yeah, we got some dogs, but we need a little bit more, almost like walking the line where it could go either way. You have to have that. I'm like, this is football. You need to have a lot of folks like that. And I'm telling you, Tennessee's got some, but we just need more. You know what I mean? Okay, so let me get to some more of these. Sorry, y'all. I'm just trying to like sift through, making sure that we're getting to the members. So this one right here from David Speaks. Thank you for joining us as always, sir. Getting that Grand Valley State defensive tackle who was 265 was a joke. Well, look, I don't want to say it that way, David. I don't want to say it that way. He didn't have the best year. I'm not sure what's going to happen for him next season. But what I will say is there are people that we have to have more depth. So it might be some people like you got to always raise the floor, and there are some people that might end up being under that floor as we go out to the portal and add some stuff. So speaking of the portal, let's go ahead and take a look at this real quick. This is just kind of like my updated list because I feel like Tennessee hopefully can go out and get Thomas. That's the defensive tackle that we just looked at. But this is what I'm seeing. And this is in order for me, basically. But safety, I think that we need two of them. Like one of them would be at number one for me, and then another defensive tackle would probably be at number two. And I'll listen to the arguments for having either one of these on top. Because if you got really good defensive tackles, the safeties ain't going to mean a whole lot. If you got a good front four, the safeties in the secondary and the second level ain't going to mean as much. Like you got to be elite up front. But yeah, for sure, safeties. I think that we need at least one starter from the portal. Maybe one of the young guys can step up and earn one of the other starting spots. We definitely need a lot more depth there than we've had what we had last season, or this season. And like I said, man, if we can add Thomas, then you go out and get you maybe one or two more defensive tackles, because I would say maybe another guy that could be maybe like a rotational piece, starting caliber, but we will rotate and let the competition ends where it ends at, and then keep on going after that. I'm saying like end on game one, and then just keep on going after that, and see who's gonna get more reps. But you also need, I would say, maybe two more guys that are up over like 330 at least, maybe even 340. I think that you still need that. I do personally, just based off of our style of defense. So do I think that that Thomas can grow into that? He's 310 right now. It's possible that he could gain 20 pounds worth of muscle. He's already pretty rocked up, but he could probably, still gain 15, 20 pounds worth of muscle with a really strong offseason coming to Tennessee where he's going to have all the resources. Like I said, wouldn't mind us maybe upgrading the strength team, but either way, he could be one of those guys for you. And I don't think he's going to lose any speed or any of that. But then obviously cornerback and star, we need 2 to 4 guys there. Like you're going to need more depth. We'll see how the young guys pan out. But I think we've got some good players that could come up and help us out. But you need so many secondary players. And we saw that from this season. We've seen it from other seasons too. This is what it is. At skill spots, you have to have a lot of guys. Okay. So quarterback, obviously, we're going to need one. I don't know if Joey's coming back or not. I think he's going to try to. I don't know if he's going to be able to, but either way, you have to get at least one more guy because I think Merck's probably going to end up leaving. And hopefully we can hold on to GMAC, and then I don't think Faison's going to leave. But at kicker, I don't care what people say. I know people feel some type of way whenever I say this. Look, bro, I don't mean to say it this way, but this is about the only way that I can say it where maybe people might understand. If you've played football, then you know that kickers, for the most part, all day in practice, all they do is kick. If you, like, let's just say, if you're playing defense, anywhere on defense, you've got different things that you have to worry about. You have different drills that you do. You're going to have a tackling drill. You're going to have an edge setting drill. You might have a coverage drill. You're going to have a, double team drill, angle tackling drill. You know what I'm saying? Like a pass rushing drill. There's a lot of things that you have to worry about. You're going to just have like walkthroughs where we need to know that you know what you're doing, given the different looks and all the checks that the defense has. You are responsible for 1,000,001 things. A kicker and a long snapper are only responsible for one thing. That's kicking for the kicker, and that's snapping for the long snapper. Even punters have other things that they have to worry about because a punter has to catch the football and then punt it. You know what I'm saying? He's got to be able to move around. He's got to worry about the rush. I mean, look, if we put you in a spot to win the damn game, you got to win it, and we can upgrade there. And I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but this is where we're at. If you want to win, you need to upgrade at kicker. Okay, so at number 6, defensive end, that's a possible. We might need one of those guys. Maybe it's strong side, maybe a Leo. I'm not sure. I don't know. It's based off of several factors. Who's going pro? Who maybe wants to transfer out? If anybody does, how does the staff feel about it? Are the young guys trending? Because the young guys will have to step up a lot at defensive end for us. Again, whether it's at Leo or it's strong side end. Okay, and then guard possibly. Is Wendell Moy leaving or is he coming back? Are we going to lose some depth pieces? I don't know. And then running back could be another spot that I actually should have put a star next to that. But running back's another spot that maybe we could add somebody if we can't add one from the high school ranks. I don't think it's a super pressing need, but it's possible that Tennessee wants to do it. But I would put those types of things probably at this point further down on the list. So that's where we're at, y'all. And we are going to start to go through and break down a lot of film on all those different spots. We are, and we're going to come in here and tell y'all what we see. We are going to do everything that we possibly can to help y'all see the way to see things, maybe like the way that we see it or whatever. Just bring you as much information as possible. So, Matt is saying, speaking of kicker, do we have one trick play in special teams this year? Give me a break. Yeah. Well, we didn't run too many trick plays, period. Like, I know that we ran more this season than we have in some previous years. But yeah, we got to take a step forward there. And we had a video that we put out earlier today for the members. One of the things that I talked about was I'm not 100%. There is a mindset change, and there's that word again. It's a mindset change that we're going to have to. There's a lot of things that we have to get fixed. And I'll just leave it at that. If you remember, then you already know. But there's a lot of things. I see potentially some problems if we can't get those things fixed in this offseason. All right, so our Ben saying he's worried about some of our guys hitting the portal. Oh, yeah, I mean, we're going to have plenty. I mean, people will hit the portal. There's no question about that. People will hit the portal. That is a guarantee. That is going to happen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come right back up to the top and try to get to some of the people that were here early. All right, so this one right here obviously was asking, what do I mean about upgrades? So we answered that. All right, this one from my dog, J Pat. You already know, bro. I feel the same way. GBO, FUGA. So this one from Twisted Fishing Outdoors saying that I need a defense that can complement our offense, but we also struggle to score on offense when our defense forced turnovers this season. Yeah, and that's kind of to my point. It's really not as much of the defense as people think. I know that we look at the numbers and we say, wow, this defense is putting up some great numbers, and all that's well and good. But if you don't have counters, if you don't have answers, then that's a problem. And then the offense goes really fast. So the defense is on the field all the time. So the offense has to be really good. Like the offense has no choice but to be really freaking good because they put the defense in a really bad spot most of the time. Like the defense has to have more depth. Just everything, how you call plays and all that, it's going to change because of the way that the offense works. So yeah, there's a lot of things that need to be complements of one another, and special teams can be thrown in there too. Special teams has to be better. Like we said, kicker. I think the punting was good. The long snapping was good, but the kicking just wasn't good enough for me. And maybe one of these days we'll go through and we'll look at the stats and I'll break it down for you and I'll show you just how poor it actually was. Like I did it, I just did it personally versus Vanderbilt, and I think that our kicker was at like 76%. Vandy's kicker was at like 95% on the season. I mean, like we were 1 of 2 from 50. I think that their guy might have been 1 of 1 from 50. I mean, it's really not. I don't even know where people are getting these stats from to say that, oh, our kicker's doing a really good job. I mean, I don't know. Is doing a good job versus what? I don't think. I mean, yeah, making field goals or making extra points. Okay, it's good that he hasn't missed any of those. But the kicks when it counts, not very good there. Not very good at all. Okay. So let me try to get to some more of these. Actually, I'm actually come back down and see because I think that we got some new ones coming in. All right, so we're gonna get to these now. So this one from Griffey saying that most of our secondary has not been good. Who cornerback has led to our secondary being so bad for years? Best guys been transfers. Yeah, I mean, I don't know necessarily that cornerback, you can say that necessarily. I mean, obviously we have a true freshman starting this year. True freshman starting that we got out of the high school ranks. I think he's played very well, especially on the latter half of the season. I'll tell you this, going through the numbers, he's actually played better than Colton Hood at the end of the season. So, I mean, you're going to give some things up. If you expect for a cornerback to not give up anything, then it's just not realistic expectations. Dion gave up stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just it's impossible. There's no way that a cornerback's not going to give up anything. That's just not going to. That's not even close to being realistic. I'm not saying that that's what you're saying, but some people really think that. But yeah, I think that you know we've lost some guys. Definitely lost some guys. I think it's been more of like a might be more of a coaching problem in all honesty, because since Coach ET's taken over cornerbacks, they've looked really good. All of them have. So it's not necessarily like a coincidence. I mean, Ricky Gibson, he came from the high school ranks. He's been good. People don't give him enough credit. He's been very good. But yeah, I think it's been like more of a coaching thing, in all honesty. I think that we have to Coach ET needs to coach more of the secondary. Now it's safety. I don't think that we've spent enough money there. I don't think that we've allocated enough resources there. But I like what I've seen from the youth. But for a long time, just wasn't enough talent there. I can definitely say that. Okay, so David is saying that Max Gilbert, he's 13 of 21, beyond 40. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know. And look, I'm not here to pick on folks, but one of the things that I really can't stand is if you have one job, not being able to do it when it counts. All practice long, you're kicking. You should be incredibly good at that. Like they practice for like 3 to 4 hours or something like that, bro. You're kicking for 3 to 4 hours. How are you missing? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you might miss some, but on such a consistent basis, when it counts, I'm. And let me also tell y'all this: a big part of the reason for it, like y'all know that I hate Georgia, right? Y'all already know that. My whole family outside of Bray, and you know, like he likes Georgia, but outside of that, my whole family can't stand Georgia. So after we lost to Georgia, his daughter, my niece, who what was only what 4 or something at the time, boo-hoo crying after we lost. You know what I'm saying? Like just boo-hoo crying because she couldn't understand how we missed that kick. She couldn't understand how we lost. I couldn't understand it either. But I mean, obviously, she's a true Vol, right? To have that sort of to feel that way. But the whole point is, it's very hard for me to forgive somebody for missing a kick whenever I'm looking at my niece bawling her freaking eyes out. You know, very difficult. We have to be better, and I don't want to hear excuses because I don't care. If Hypo wants to keep on coaching here, I'm gonna keep on saying it because that's got to get turned up now. And I'm not calling for his job right now, but what I am telling y'all, and you might not see it right now, but I promise you there's other issues that people haven't really talked. There's other stuff going on. He better fix everything that he possibly can and stop playing that nice guy role. I'm sorry. This is SEC football. These kids are getting paid. You gotta step up. Okay, so Matt. Right here, Matt. Hey, appreciate you for the super chat, bro. Saying that he would love a breakdown sometime of who our incoming early enrollees are. Silver lining with getting a scrappy bowl is that they will get experience. Yeah, so I think that's an excellent point. Let me play this super chat clip for you. Thank you so much for that, Matt. Yeah, so we will do that. Obviously, signing day, it starts on Wednesday. I'm not sure what the defensive tackle, what the JUCO defensive tackle that we just talked about, if he's planning on signing in that signing period. I don't really know how that works. It might be different for JUCO players versus high school players. But excuse me, he's a guy that obviously I would love to have up because I think that he would be a huge addition to this team. But yeah, of course, we're gonna take a look at that. We'll you know, take a look at that, break it down, and talk about what we see from the team. And some people will start to hit the portal. I think that should be coming pretty soon. I think we'll probably start to see some people because, like I said, the players are doing their exit interviews. You know what I'm saying? So some folks will know, hey, this is where you kind of stand at. If you want a raise or whatever, maybe you can't get it, and so on and so forth. So we'll have a much better understanding of you know, all those things. Okay, so JPAT, he's saying that he wants the Gator Bowl, but he's selfish and wants to watch it live. Okay, yeah. So you're in that area. I mean, I don't really even, to be honest with you, I don't even care. Like, I mean, of course, I would like to go to a good bowl. It'd be cool if it's in Florida. I know that the players and stuff want to go to Florida. You don't want to go somewhere that's going to be kind of cold and stuff, but it doesn't really matter to me. Like, I want to see the younger guys get to play more, and maybe some players who are trying to get their draft stock up. I want to see them maybe play some more, just to kind of help with that. But I mean, outside of that, bro, I'm ready to go ahead and turn the page on this season because just a lot of things that we could have done a lot better. Okay. Crappy bowl. Okay, got you, bro. Got you. Appreciate you for cleaning that up. All right. So Jeremy saying I thought that I was the only one that was screaming to cut out the nice guy and fix what needs fixing. Yeah, I think that there's probably a lot of us that feel the same way, bro. A whole lot of us, and it's not to be a jerk, but it's just that dog. Like we're trying to win. Okay, so David is saying that this year, or I'm sorry, that this next year is going to be brutal with the 9-game schedule. Yeah, it is, and I think that's another part of it is that it's going to have to turn up the like thought process of like what I said. There can't be any more nice guy stuff. Like we don't have time for that, bro. We have no more time for that. We got to have a team that's loaded. I hope that the SEC will go to the 105 man scholarship roster. I really do. And if they're going to do it, I mean, like they have to decide on that pretty quickly. Doesn't sound like they're fully figured it out either way. But I mean, shoot, the portal and all that's open up. Like you have to know how much room you have on your roster. I mean, that's a big part of this. Like you're handicapping us, and I don't even know who would vote against that. I almost feel like whoever it is that says no, we don't want to do it, man, kick them out of the SEC. Tell them to go to Big 12 ball or something. Like wherever. They're gonna be mad there too because Big 12's doing a 105 roster. I'm just sick of it. Like I'm sick of the mindset of like loser mentality. We are here to win with no apologies and no excuses. Also, David's also saying that he went to the Indiana and Iowa Gator Bowl. Yeah, I don't want to play Iowa. I really would rather not play a Big Ten team unless it's going to be some type of a relatively fun matchup. So from J Pat saying he's in Jacksonville. Oh yeah, so that's right in there. Okay, cool. Yeah, for sure. That would be dope for you to be able to obviously be able to catch that live. So this one from a new person saying the hype will be judged by his ability to make tough decisions. If he doesn't get the right people coaching and send some players packing, then this isn't the job for him. And I'm right there with you. And I really like a lot of the coaches on the staff. Obviously, love Coach Heupel. Don't want to see anybody get fired. But as I've said so many times, it just is what it is, man. It just is what it is. And yeah, it's going to be hard to go find somebody that you feel like is an upgrade over Coach Heupel. Might be, but that's Danny White's job. I think that if we don't see some changes, if it don't look better next season, then y'all, I'm gonna tell you, we've hit a ceiling with this staff. That's just what it is. There's no need to keep him around and think that it's going to get any better because it's probably not. Unless we at least see some changes where, okay, we're trying to get things done. There's always like extreme circumstances where, something just really bad happened and we didn't have a chance to be able to make, what I'm saying? That could always happen, but hopefully not. Yeah, you just have to go. You just have to go for it. You can't live scared. So this one from Blake saying that, do I think that Josh Heupel is leaving for Penn State? If not, can they take him off? Can they take him off Banks instead? Or can they take time off? Yeah. So I don't think that Heupel's leaving for Penn State. I really don't. That wouldn't make any sense to me. I don't think that it would make sense for really either party. In all honesty, it wouldn't make why would Penn State want to go get Coach Heupel, and then why would Coach Heupel want to go to Penn State? There's no real ties there, in my opinion. There's nothing about that would make any sense. So I don't think that that's going to happen. It's just something that's probably being thrown out there by some agents or whatever. Or maybe it's been thrown out there by Penn State to make people feel more interested in that job. Because who wants to I wouldn't want to go live in that freezing cold weather. I wouldn't. Out in the middle of nowhere, it's freezing cold. It's going to snow. I wouldn't want to do that at all. Like not me, but I'm sure that some people love that type of stuff. So Heupel might like it. I think that he came from an area that's very similar to to what whatever College Station is or whatever the hell that place is called up there, where Happy Valley or whatever it is. All right, so D saying that we need bigger bodies on the inside and wasn't impressed with our edge rushers this year either. Yeah, I think that the edge rushers did a pretty solid job, but those two things do go hand in hand. Like you got to be able to get some pressure up the middle for the edge to be able to kind of get there too. But yeah, I think that I'm not gonna say that I wasn't impressed with the edge personally, but we probably could have done better. But for sure, I think that we need to go get some bigger bodies up front for our defensive tackles. Okay, so this one right here. What's going on, bro? Oh, thank you for that. Thank you for that, for sure. And D is also saying that Joseph looked good early on, but looked like he lost a step as the season went on. Yeah, I can definitely say that they did take some steps back more towards the end of the year. I'm not quite sure why. It could be from a lot of different things. It could be from the scheme that Tennessee's running or that the offenses are running. If you do more three-step drops, it's very tough to be able to get home. But yeah, it's something does kind of feel like it was off with the defensive line, okay? So, Urban Meyer in Knoxville. I'm gonna tell you, I don't like Urban Meyer from a personal standpoint, and people will think, you could think however you want to think or feel however you want to feel. He's a coach that I feel like would be an upgrade for sure. Now, his teams are tough. The only problem is he kind of goes over the line of going and getting those types of players. I've talked about this before, that when he was at Florida, and I'm sure when he was with the Buckeyes, they're doing the mat drills and really just like fighting and stuff. Like, good teams do that type of stuff. You have to do that type of stuff. It makes no sense not to let your team fight on the field. Just don't understand it. You want them to be tough, right? Okay, well, then they need to be out there fighting some. Okay, like obviously the coaches can break it up and all that, but there needs to be that edge. So he would definitely do that. It's not a whole lot of other coaches, though, in all honesty, that I'm looking at. I'm like, okay, this is a for sure upgrade to Coach Heupel in every sense of the word. But if we are ever going to move on, then I want to obviously go get an upgrade. I don't really want an up and comer. That's just me. So let's see what else we got. All right, so Blake is saying that we are never winning a national championship with. I disagree. I don't. Well, I mean, you can feel that way, but that's not. I don't feel like that's necessarily true. I think that we maybe can do it, but we saw some significant changes in the offseason to the offense. How much can we continue to tweak? I think one of the changes that's definitely necessary is adding more money to the defensive side of the football. You've got to spend money there. We spent a lot on offense last year, a lot, too much probably. I don't even think that our offense. Yeah, it's good to have some good players, but really our offense. You probably don't need that many great players. I don't think that you need a whole lot of depth from that standpoint. Have a good offensive line and add some things to the offense. Offense is easier to make things happen. Saw what Vanderbilt did, and it's sorry to pick at the scab or, whatever, pick at the open wound. But we saw what Vanderbilt's very untalented on paper offense did to our defense and did to a lot of other defenses. You could do that if you could scheme it up. So go get the talent on defense and then just scheme it up everywhere else. Okay, so this one from Samuel saying that think that the mindset should be for meaningless bowl games should be like a preseason game. I think so too. It's a look ahead, and that's a perfect point. It's a look ahead to what do we need to do in the offseason? Who can come back, keep guys happy so that it's easier for us to hold on to them. Let them know, hey, love you. We expect for you to be a huge part of our system next season, a huge part of us winning a national title. Do you have the right mindset? Right? And then maybe at the same time figure out, okay, well, these guys maybe aren't as good. I don't really like, I want to win every single game, but I would be okay personally, me personally, I'd be okay with us maybe sacrificing playing some guys and getting that figured out and having a better look for next season and potentially losing in a who cares sort of a situation. Because you could say whatever, oh, this team won this bowl and SEC won this many games versus the Big Ten versus the ACC. At the end of the day, there's always an asterisk next to all those games because so many people opt out anyway. Like a lot of these guys, if they're going pro, they're not going to play in that game. If you're transferring out, why would you play in that game? It makes no sense. So it's always an asterisk next to it. Just, it's cool for the fans to be able to beat their chest. But I also think that the fans are going to have an understanding of what it takes to win championships moving forward. It's not like back in the day. Some of this stuff just isn't going to mean as much, and it just is what it is. Championships, playoffs, that's what matters. Just to me, you could look at it differently, and that's perfectly fine. I'm not mad at you for that. I'm just saying that I wouldn't be mad at the staff if that's the way that they looked at that game. Okay, so Blake is saying recruiting isn't good enough, can't break a top 5 class. Well, I mean, of course, you would love to be able to break a top 5 class. I think that we're making some strides, though. It's tough. It's really tough when you look at the top 5. Those teams have been in the top 5 for a long time. They've been like right around that for a long time. Tennessee fell off of the face of the planet for pretty much like a couple of decades. So that's what makes it tough. And having a season like this can also make it tough. But man, if we could hold on to what we have, I think that we could maybe. I wish that we could have done a better job and maybe make it to the playoffs because I thought that would have jump started the 2027 class. But we got some good resources, so we should be all right. All right. So David is, will we keep Matthews and Staley? Staley's staying. I don't know about Mike. We will see. We'll see how that plays out. But yeah, I mean, probably, we'll probably end up keeping both. I'm sure that we want to keep both. So why is the Tennessee brand seems like a joke to others, or do they secretly fear playing it? I mean, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't know. I don't know who, I don't know who we're a joke of a program to. I've never seen that. So I don't know. I have no idea. All right. So this next one, from Matt, haven't heard this out there yet, but thoughts on Mark Stoops as a defensive coordinator position for us. Thoughts? I don't know. I'm not a big Mark Stoops fan, in all honesty. I'm not a big fan of their style of defense. It's way too much man. And I think that you can run man in certain instances, but the Stoops defensive system, I think that you're going to have your good games and you're going to have some horrible games where you just get torched. I don't necessarily like I don't like their style. That's what I would say. I do not like it personally. People would think, oh yeah, that's going to be an upgrade, but also part of it is people just think that Coach Banks sucks. Coach Banks really doesn't suck. He's dealt with some bad things. Can he do better? For sure, but he's not as bad as some people think. He really isn't. His scheme is gonna put you in some good spots, but like I said, he needs to make some tweaks too. I would go for somebody that is just a defensive coordinator and is a proven guy and has put a lot of players in the league. And players, he can go out and get good players and he knows talent and all that type of stuff. That's what I want, personally. Okay. Good thought, Deborah. Where's Deborah at in here? Did I skip you, Deborah? May have, as I'm not seeing Deborah, but I did want to get to Deborah because I've haven't heard from Deborah in a while. But okay, so I'm not seeing Deborah. I was trying to find you, Deborah. But we're gonna get this one from Little Rock. How about mod for? Oh, okay. So yeah, Mayo for DC. Yeah, I would be fine with that. I think that he'd be a good candidate for that. I really do. I think he'd be a great candidate for it. Yeah, I think that would be a great. It's just he doesn't have a huge body of work as a defensive coordinator, obviously. So I don't know. I want to say with the Patriots, wasn't he like linebackers coach? How long was he was he a DC there, and then he was upgraded to the head coach? I don't remember how the whole thing played out. I'd have to go back and see how they play. But yeah, I would love to have him. I think he'd be a great option. Coming from the NFL, you have to be multiple with what you do. They're going to lean more on man-to-man coverage, but it's not to me going to be like the Mark Stoops. See, like to me, the like Stoops stuff, the way that they play man is like Big 12-esque, where it's kind of like backyard football man-to-man coverage. It's not quite on the level of some of these other teams, some of these other defensive coordinators that like to run man. I'm not sure if that makes sense. Maybe I can do a film breakdown and kind of show you what I'm talking about there. All right, so this one's saying that I also think something that no one is mentioning is this team seemed to have no leaders. I know that Miles and Arion spoke a lot after the Nico situation. Yeah, I would disagree with that. I think that the leadership was fine on the team. I do. I think that wasn't really too much of an issue. I think that I don't know if that was. I mean, I think that we have to be tougher. Let me say it that way. I think that we need more like real dogs, more like for real dogs, not just tough talking. I'm talking about action. You know what I mean? Like we'll stand up and if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, we'll show you why you need to listen to what we say. Sort of you know what I mean? Like and on and off the field. I mean, Miles Kitterman. This is just me. You can't tell me a damn thing, bro, because you keep on dropping passes and you keep falling down and there's nothing that you can tell me. That's just the way that I would look at it. I don't know if everyone looks at it that way, but that would be me. What are you gonna tell me? I'm not listening to you, bro. Like that's just me. Like you got to be able to do all of it. So yeah, I don't know if that was too much of it. And maybe that's to your point. Maybe that is right. Okay. All right. So let me just try to get to some more of these. Oh. Little Rock Vol is Deborah? Oh, Deborah, I had no idea that was you. Okay, thank you for telling me that. Okay, hey Deborah, how's it going? Always good to see from you. I had no idea that was you. For some reason maybe it shows up different in the streams or something. But either way, yeah. Hey Deborah, hope that everything's going well. Okay, so let me get to this one right here from RJ's Fishing Outdoor saying to bring in Chip Kelly, let Halsley go. I don't know. Yeah, I wonder, and I talked about it yesterday. I wonder how much of the offensive problems that I see where you know what we're doing, the rhythm of the play calling isn't and which is it's okay if it's not too consistent, but I don't think that it's good enough. How much of that is just from Coach Heupel and how much of that is from Halsley? I really couldn't tell you, but what I like about the offensive coaches, period, is that they went out and they were willing to, hey, man, we're going to bring some more people in. Give us some more voices. And I think that the offense benefited from that. I'm not going to say, hey, let's go out and get some more voices because you don't want too many Indians and not enough Chiefs. And I don't know if that's a good term to use these days or whatever. I don't mean anything by that, obviously. But I I think that we have to make some tweaks. I think that so coaches in the offseason, they go to clinics sometimes, coaching clinics, or you go and sit down and listen or talk to. I'm sure that they have some coaching buddies that will talk about their mindset and like what their scheme is and why they're doing what they're doing. I think that we could use more of that. Like learn some more from the outside. Don't be so closed off from the rest of the world. I mean, I think we need more of that for sure. But Brian Kelly, I'm not Brian Kelly. Hell no, not Brian Kelly. P actually said to me yesterday, "What if Coach Hypo leaves and if we go out and get Brian Kelly?" I was like, I'd be done. that would be it for me. And obviously I don't fully mean that, but I'll be, that would be tough. But yeah, so Chip Kelly, right? He's a guy that I think that he works pretty well in college. I think that especially if he has talent, I think that with the West Coast elements that he has, Tennessee could use more of the West Coast stuff. We most definitely could. Now everyone has some of it. We could probably use a little bit more of that. I think that we could use more of sticking to the passing game, to the running backs, more of spreading the field out into levels concepts and all that type of stuff. You know what I mean? Okay, like flood concepts, all that. So this one is saying playing 8 to 10 yards off the ball is ridiculous. Okay, so I'm really glad that you brought this up because it's something that we talk about every now and then on this channel. You cannot play press coverage all the time. You just can't. The reason that you play 8 to 10 yards off is because you're more than likely playing a deeper coverage and you're trying to keep the offense from running it deep. Now, why would you do it? You're going to do it based off of watching the film on these teams and knowing their tendencies. One of the things that we talked about with Alabama, we could have run quarters coverage in like a really deep cover three, like a cover three seam for the whole game. You're going to give some stuff up, but you're going to take away what they like to do most of, or what they mostly like to do, because they are a vertical passing team. You're not going to stop everything. There is no way on defense, unless you just get lucky, that you're going to stop everything that an offense does. And whenever that happens, y'all, I promise you, it's typically luck. That just typically doesn't happen. So would you rather come up and play press, bump and run coverage at the line of scrimmage and give up deep passes, which is exactly what you're going to do? Go back to the Georgia game. Go back to any game with the ball's going over our heads. That's what we're doing. Go back to the Vanderbilt game. We played a whole lot of press. Like we went through for the members and we showed them the big passing plays. We were in press coverage a lot. Okay. So it's very difficult to be able to do that all the time. Now, you can run zones and play press. That would be like a cover two. It could be some different things. So maybe mix that up. But there is a rhyme and a reason to why we're playing 10 yards off of the football. It's not as simple as some people think. It is defense on this level is very complicated. Yeah, the grand scheme of it is simple, but the intricacies it's very complicated. Very, very, very complicated. Things have to switch and all that. It's not as cut and dry as that. So I wanted to make sure that people do understand it. Like there's a reason that we're calling it. And for the most part, we're calling it at the right times. For the most part, Coach Banks has put us in good enough positions from a scheme standpoint to be able to make the plays. Could he adjust to who he's putting out there to be able to finish on those plays better? For sure. You know what I'm saying? Is he always perfect? Hell no. Nobody's ever perfect. But is he better than people give him credit for? 1,000%. Do we still need to make some changes? Possibly, probably. I mean, but just understand that, man. It's not super easy. Okay. Let me get off my soapbox and get to this one from maybe Ian Lander, saying that if we get a great defensive coordinator, the head coach offers will flow in. It's a never-ending revolving door. That's another really good point, which is also why I said I would like to go out and get a defensive coordinator that just wants to be a defensive coordinator that has no real aspirations to being a head coach. Just bringing a guy that is perfectly fine, calling the plays and all that, and make him feel real comfortable, make him feel real happy, hold on to him, kind of like the formula that Coach Alba has now. They're going to have good years and they're going to have bad years. So you're going to have to deal with that. Or, maybe not good and bad, but maybe great and then maybe it's an average year. I don't know. But it's not always going to be perfect because things go in cycles. You know what I mean? That's just how football works, okay? So this one's saying we need to hit the portal to get the two best cornerback and safety, pay them in I think we're fine at corner. I really like Ricky Gibson, who's probably going to be back. I think he's a really good corner. I also think that Tyler Redmond, like I said, he at the end of the year was playing better than Colton Hood. Honestly speaking, that's based off of the numbers and also based off watching it. He's going to get exponentially better because he is a freshman. So every year, he's got 2 more years with us, hopefully, if we can hold on to him right. Then, yeah, I mean, he's going to be – we're fine at corner. I think for our starters, doesn't mean that it's hey, you guys are the starters for sure, but we got 2 really good starting caliber corners. We need more depth there, though. Like, you have to be able to rotate some, all that type of stuff. You need to have some people who can come in. At star, we got to see. I'm not sure about the freshmen, but I think that they're talented. Marcus Gore is a guy that I was pretty high on coming out. He hasn't really seen the field, which worries me, but maybe he's a guy that could step up for you. But yeah, that's more of what I'm saying is more about depth pieces. In my opinion, safety for sure. You need at least one good starting safety. We should be good at linebacker, man. We got plenty of really good linebackers. The youth at linebacker is crazy. Arion Carter might have to come back. You know what I'm saying? But just the overall youth is crazy. Then more are coming in. But yeah, I think we'll be fine. Pretty much everywhere else. So let me get to this one from Matt. Username versus handle name. Oh, okay. Interesting. Thank you for pointing that out, bro. So this one, okay. You can go into okay, so she's just trying to, okay, so you were just talking to her. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so this one right here saying that rumor has it that Nick Saban is coming to Tennessee as the defensive coordinator. I think that Nick Saban is going to come back to coaching, y'all. I do. I think that all the rumors about Alabama's current coach, Kalen, going on to Penn State, I think that there's some real smoke there. I do. And I think that part of it is that maybe Nick Saban is starting to say that he wants to come back. And I'm just throwing it out there. That's just a hunch. Just a hunch for me. Okay? So let me see who else we got in here. I'm going to try to get to some different people and then, okay. So it looks like we don't really have too many more from different people. Let me see. Okay, so this one right here. All right, so saying that, but when the offense needs 3 to 5 yards, we're 10 yards off, and they dink and donk us. Yeah, so I don't know how many times that's happened. So I think when people are talking about that, it's mostly about the double mug or single mug looks, where we are showing a lot of pressure up at the line of scrimmage, and we're showing that we're playing off. But there's a reason that they're doing that too. It's so the offense doesn't know what we're in, because you could bring 7. So basically, like whenever you're showing, hey, we can bring 7, the offense has to do things quick. So all of their like routes and all that type of stuff, it's going to be very, very quick. So you're putting pressure on them from that standpoint, and they don't know who's dropping or what the coverage is. So that's why it looks like we're super far off of the football. But on the snap, we'll typically come up and maybe play tighter on the outside and all of that, right? But that's why. There's a rhyme and a reason. It's really not like, trust me, these guys aren't idiots, okay? Like, the defensive coordinators at this level, Coach Heupel's not just going to hire a bunch of idiots. That will say, hey, you know, let's just play off, which sometimes you might end up sticking off. But again, it's based off of the tendencies. But, like, they're not dumb, so they're not just going to call stupid stuff that makes no logical sense. There's a rhyme and there's a reason to everything that we do. I know it's frustrating because we don't always know what that is, but believe me when I tell you, there are reasons. All right, so this one right here, from Dog, saying that this was kind of a rebuilding year for y'all. Yeah, kind of was, but just because the whole team is really young and all that. This is funny right here. Saying, Coach Nez, listen, I really like Coach Nez. I do, like on a kind of like personal level, which I don't really know him personally, but from what I've heard and all of that, I feel like I definitely like him. I think that you can hold on to him. I think that the game maybe has passed him up some from like actual teaching and coaching standpoint, where get somebody else out there for that. But I think that he's like a good veteran, kind of like maybe like leader, you know? So I think that he could be one of those types of guys for you. I don't know. Do we have the money to hold on to him from that standpoint? Maybe. Okay. So this one from Deborah saying that yes on bull. Oh, thank you for that, Deborah. Thank you so much for that, y'all. This one from Dog saying that the fire hypo crap is insane to me. Yeah, I mean, I'm not in the boat of saying fire him, but I am in the boat of he's on the hot seat for me personally. He really is. This is a prove it year. In my opinion, I'm not pulling any strings, so what I say really isn't going to matter. But I've seen enough things that if you can't get it figured out, if it doesn't look better this season, and yeah, we've got some issues that I don't think will ever get fixed. So what's the point? If there's a good coach out there that you feel like, hey, they can get it done and they're interested, then again, that's just given if he doesn't do well or if the season looks like this again next year. I'm not for just being 8-4. I'm not okay with that. Now this year, okay, you got your mulligan. We ain't gonna have another one of these, and it's not gonna be some real consequences behind it, in my opinion. All right, so this is gonna be the last one here. This will be the 6th year, do or die this year. I think that's a good one for us to end it on. So appreciate y'all for just joining us and, listening to what we had to say about some of this stuff. And, obviously we will have a lot more coming out with the off-season stuff. That's what we're going to be focusing on. Once more comes out with the bowl games and all that, we'll definitely be covering y'all for that. And then the basketball team plays tomorrow night, so we're going to be covering that. Is it tomorrow night? It's at some point tomorrow. Probably is tomorrow night. But either way, appreciate y'all. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be talking to y'all probably tomorrow. All right, thanks. Peace.